access the send alerts options and properties, as usual with our services, you do have to stop the communication or processes that are on. Click Stop All, and you'll see that it says that the thread was stopped. And here. And we'll click the Properties menu and click the Properties option. This might take a second to load. It has several features within it, and we'll just go through these screens one at a time and talk about what each of them does and how they can be affected by you to make your own. The first one's obviously the database connection. This is the connection that's used to go to your Invista database, so this should be pretty standard and should match all your other service programs and even your Invista ARM. This is a pretty basic screen. The SMS communications, this is if you have an SMS modem, which none of you do, but if you were to buy one, this is where it would go. They're quite expensive, so I don't foresee that happening ever. Email communication, right now we have some generic Envatec information in here, but this is where your SMTP server will be input. This is usually going to be a server hosted by your government agency that has an email address or an account set up for you to send out the alerts that you're looking to send out. There are some agencies that have an anonymous access SMTP server that allows outgoing emails from anybody. So you might not have a password here, and you might be able to use this anonymous SMTP information. Other than that, you're basically just inputting information that your IT department has given you so that you can have it configured correctly. Alerts backup, this is in case you have two servers that are pulling and operating in a master-slave scenario. Currently, I think there's only one agency doing this, but it is a possibility if you have enough seats available within your Invista license. You could have two servers running, one being your primary polling and primary alerting system. And then if something happens with that and it goes down, a backup system can take over, and that is what the concept is here. If you go with that method, you do have to put in some communication between the two. If that's something you're interested in, or you're interested in exploring or just hearing more about, we can talk about it another time. That might be a great idea for a webinar if there's people who are interested in that later in the year. Add that to the schedule, something like that. We do have some open blocks as we go. But this is for that master-slave communication. I'm going to click this arrow over so we can go to the extra tabs. You'll notice there's these two arrows that go left and right. They allow you to browse through all the different tabs that are available in the program. And these tabs at the end are actually the ones that are most interesting to you, I'm sure. So alerts by user, this is a screen where we can further define the alerts that are sent out station, monitor, air. So what happens here is you'll note that, oh, I'm sorry, I guess it's full now. We can't have any more people in. It's the first time we've had a full meeting. So anyway, you'll remember in the setup program you can add users to a station and basically configure them to receive all of the email alerts that go out from that station. That's the typical alerting configuration. If you come in here and go through this fairly lengthy process, honestly, of setting up each alert individually for each user, then this will override those settings and it will send those alerts to only the people who are configured here. So if we, I don't know where we have alerts actually. Here we go. We have some, these are correct data alerts. I can just tell because the lingo here is pretty convoluted. It's less than value, less than equals, and so on. What we can do is create customized users for these alerts. So we'll pick an alert and we'll click the little person icon with the plus symbol next to it. And this will give us a list of all the users in our system. It kind of pops up wherever it wants, so you might have to look on your screens for it. But these are all of the users that are configured in our demo system here. So we could say only drdas and Andrew's wife and editor are going to receive those alerts. And you'll see that they appear in the list to the side, and when we click on a different alert, the different set appears, which in this case is no customization. We do have to click Save every time. And we could flip through. This one only has the correct data alerts, so correct data is the same here. Not really sure where else we might have alerts.
So you can't write new alerts in this?
No. This is only.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, this is only for customizing who receives the alerts that are set up in the setup program.
So if we wanted to put an extra alert in, we'd have to go back to the setup and do it there and then assign it to the person here.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And I talked about all this overriding the settings and all of that. If you want to keep things simple, I think that the best thing that you could do is if you're going to customize the alerts in this program, just don't check that email box next to the usernames in the setup program. So I can open setup and show you what I'm talking about here. This happens to be a different database, so I'm sorry about that. But under the, well, actually it's under the users and then the roles management by station. So this checkbox here, if it's checked, if you check it under normal circumstances, they would receive all the alerts for that station. If you're going to go with the customized alerts and send alerts, it might be better just to uncheck the emails here so that there's less confusion over how it's configured, and then do the setup and send alerts. Here are a couple other types of alerts just to show you how they appear. This is another test site. So you can see that there's a high value alert for the ambient pressure, and then a low percentage of variation alert. So they are a little bit of a shorthand, but the main emphasis is that they're visible. They're understandable, generally speaking. The correct data alerts are the only ones that don't really tell you what they are, and that's just because they have so much information in that one line. Deleting users is, you add the users, and then if you click that and delete, they'll be removed from the list, so that's how you can remove them. Obviously, if you have a large network, it takes a considerable amount of time to actually do this configuration, but I know that there's always a concern of people getting too many alerts that are not relevant to them at a station, and this is a way to filter that out and get the right alerts to the right people.
Can you do a cell phone alert?
Well, there's two ways to do a cell phone alert. Well, there's three ways to do a cell phone alert. The first way would be to use that SMS modem, which, as I said, they're kind of pricey, and I question their reliability in general to get the alerts out. So the second way would be to send a text via email to a cell phone, and that can be done by.
You couldn't do a text email or text alert on cell phone, could you?
Well, when you send, every cell phone has an email address that gets translated into a text message, not just to the cell phone, but like if you have an old cell phone that's not a smartphone and you can receive text, that will have an email address associated with it. They're varied according to the provider, so if you have questions about what that texting email address would be, you can call your provider or look it up online. Like Verizon, I think, is the phone number, the 10-digit phone number at vtext.com, and they're just very varied in their syntax. So I don't know what the email address would be, but you can certainly put that email address in and send it as an email alert, and it would be received by the phone as a text message.
Thank you.
And there is a voice alerting system that they're trying to unveil. It's a robotic type of Microsoft standard voice, so I don't know that it's useful, and if you miss the call, you miss the call, but there is that possibility as well. The texting and the emailing, those are the most reliable, I think. Call was made. Okay, so I'm going to go to the custom message tab. This is where you can define the language that appears in the message. I know that some of the default transmission types are difficult to understand with NVTEX basic coding. So this gives you an opportunity to set up a customized note about the alert. So if we did high-value alerts, what you're going to do is set up a custom text that applies to all high-value alerts. So this is like an all setting for each type of alert. We'll set the email, and we can uncheck that default message. And I know this looks like you still can't type into it, but when it's blue here, you can. And basically, you could just type in the title that you want, the message, the high-value alert. And then you'll see here on the right-hand side there are these wildcard placeholders. So we did a %m, and then at %s. This would come through the email as saying high-value alert, CO at Wildwood Station. So this would be your station name, as it says right here, station, %s%. And this would be the monitor name. That's M inside %. Then you could go further, and I know it says SMS here, but we're really dealing with email. We could put in the further enunciation of the alert, so high value of, and then a val, so %a val. Then we can put in the alert date, so this would be %AD, parentheses we'll put in MMDD Y for station %S. Basically whatever text makes sense to you there, you can fill in. You can also do nice things if you have, I'll just show you here. I'm going to the setup program, and I'm going to show you how to set the pollutant. So if you go to a station and you click the pollutant, you'll have some meteorological options here. And if you set a wind speed and wind direction option, they're like tied to the station. So, so when we go to send alerts, if you put in the WD, that can give you the wind direction and the wind speed at the time of the alert. So it's just an option for you to know that as it's occurring at that time. You can also include if it's an open alert or a closed alert. As you know, you get an alert when you get a notification when an alert occurs and when it stops occurring. And those are just different ways to set up a default message for the voice calls that could go out on a voice modem. Questions about the custom messages? No? Okay. Alert timing?
Can these override the ones that we put in the setup? Is that correct?
I know.
Or they go in place of it?
Don't have any relation to anything in setup. This is the only place where you can set this. To be clear, this is the text of the message as it appears going out.
Okay, so the high value alert that comes out of the setup will be in this format. But we'll have to still go into the setup to do the high value alert at a particular station.
Okay, if it's over PPB, it's really high. Here is where you would put in the kind of syntax that the email would be sent out in. So this is the language of the email going out.
But the actual email setup for a particular site comes out of the setup still. Is that right?
It doesn't affect the users that are. Whatever users would receive the email, this is the text that they would receive it as.
But it doesn't matter which site you're setting it up for in the network?
Actually all high
for
value.
all of them? Okay.
Yeah, so every high value alert will have.
Can you ask people to mute their phone lines? Because I'm having trouble hearing. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is just the text. This is just the format of the text. This has nothing to do with any specific customization. So this is the high value alerts will all go out with this syntax. Any high value alert. Right, yeah. Does that answer your question, Ina?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so we're going to go into the alert timing. And this is just a place where you, whether or not the timing will be, this is when the alerts will go out. We could put in a weekly timing and say that this is going to go from Sunday to Sunday or just Sunday through Wednesday. This. Only email. When you click apply, it says, okay, every Sunday, every Monday, every Tuesday, and every Wednesday from midnight to 12 or to midnight, the mail will go out. If you let's not send things out to 7 or 8, and you'll see that that would change the timing. Yes. So we'll take all those out so that we can see exactly how it came through. This would be the hours of, you have like work hours, so 5 to 8. This will be daily, sending the email from that time. So it will queue the emails that would happen overnight and send them at 5 a.m. These two tabs are actually a bit new. Daily information. This just lets you, it's basically the same screen as before, only instead of dealing with the timing of the message, it deals with the user can receive it. So if you have a staggered schedule, you could send it to users on certain days. Select the name, find the method that we want to send it, add them to the list, and then when you select them from the list, you can decide their schedule. And this one, I have no idea. I was trying to look at this one earlier, and I'm not sure what pipeline users mean. If that sounds like something you're interested in, I can call into tech and ask them, but there's no configuration here really. So, any questions on the configurations and setup other than what that last tab that I don't know what it does? Okay. Yeah, that's about right for the timing I was anticipating. There aren't many other options within Send Alerts. The only other thing that I could think of to show you is that you can test the email by filling out an email address here, typing in a test message and clicking Send. It won't send until you start the service. You can see here that it went ahead and tried to send that as soon as the service was started. I guess another question that people ask is, why do I always have to space? And the fact is that it's always there. There's there's no way to take that out. So you'll always see this can't init SMS device unless you close it yourself. Okay, that's send alerts and the advanced settings there.